Hello and welcome once again. Today we'll be talking about alcohol use and stress. So people often self-medicate. Alcohol is one of the big ones. Does it really reduce stress for teens or for anybody for that matter? Well, that's what we'll be talking about in this video. You know, alcohol has been an issue for a long, long time. So why do teenagers, reach for alcohol, particularly when they're under stress? Well, got to take a look at that, have that conversation about that. And then what does it do to the body, right? What does alcohol do to our systems inside? What are the long-term consequences of using alcohol to deal with stress? And what would real relief from stress actually look and feel like? All those things we're gonna discuss in this video. When we talk about why people use alcohol, there's a lot to go into that. Now, clearly, alcohol use has been around since time eternal. Since man first learned how to make alcohol, alcohol use has been around. Teenagers are reporting 29% of them, that seniors, that they used alcohol within the last month. Many of them are reporting that it's to cope with stress. So there's something that alcohol is actually doing to make them feel better. On top of that, we've got to really think about the cultural component of this and the long history of use of alcohol. Alcohol in some cultures still, even for teenagers, is okay. Europe has a much more cavalier attitude towards alcohol use than we do in Western society. And their mindset is different. When I got a chance to go visit my cousins over in Europe who were living in Switzerland at the time, and they were in high school and I was in college, and we went out and we were socializing, they could drink legally. And what I noticed different was some of them might have got intoxicated, but they weren't setting out to get intoxicated, which at that time in my college world, that was what I saw a lot. So there was a different cultural component that explained why people drink and even why they may drink to excess. So those things are all into play along with what you believe inside, all those internal things as well. We know that alcohol is a depressant, right? So when you drink alcohol, when your body consumes alcohol, it decreases the stimulating body chemicals and increases the calming body chemicals. They used to use alcohol as like if you had to do surgery or something on somebody way back when, they'd give you a lot of alcohol, get you drunk, so you pass out, so you don't feel things. That's the chemical impact that alcohol has on the body. We all kind of know that. Oftentimes, some people may have experienced and understand it. If you've had too much to drink, you get a little more emotional, maybe a little sadder at times, right? You get down. That is the chemical nature of alcohol and how your body handles it and reacts to it. When you kind of recover the next day, or your brain rebounds, gets the alcohol out of the system, it rebalances or might even now emphasize the stimulant chemicals as it's trying to rebound and get those back up. And those can actually create more stress. So you get into this cycle of feeling more of the stress and anxiety, wanting to get those back down. So you reach back for the bottle, and that is where that addictive nature can begin to come in play, right? Where your body rebounds, gets it out of whack a little bit. You want to bring it back into, so you reach for the alcohol again. And like many other addictions, that's how that drinking cycle can begin because of what's going on inside the body biochemically. The long-term consequences of drinking are obvious, from liver issues to heart issues to overweight issues, obesity, which plays into all those things, decreased immune. Uh, I mean, we've seen all the stories. We've seen, heard. It's recapped it over and over. Alcoholism, long-term drunkenness shortens lifespans. It's not good in any stretch of the imagination. One of the classic, I don't like using that terms, but Mickey Mantle was a really great example because he started drinking at a young age. He was called up to the big leagues as a teenager. He was going to be the next great thing. A lot of pressure on him. He was the next great thing, right? He's stepping in, and he's going to be the guy who's going to replace Joe DiMaggio, like one of the greatest of all time, one of the true gentlemen of the sport of all time. And to cope, again, culturally, this became this. It was easy, right? So reaching for the bottle, reaching for the drink, and his stories, sadly, are legendary about drinking before games and too much. His breakfast of champions, which was alcohol based, and well, when he finally retired, his career was cut a little short from injuries and all. But once again, the impact of all that drinking had on his body and being able to take care of himself and perform at the high level. Um, how much was that related to some of the injuries? But he died uh, as a really 60s young man. So definitely much too young, and it was related to his alcohol abuse. And one of the things that he did in his later years was begin to try to talk more about the dangers of using alcohol to try to cope. What we're after is feeling good inside, is getting this natural high, right? These in some cases, it might be an adrenaline rush, right? That's what some people seek to. Alcohol doesn't do that, but it's it's making yourself feel better in some ways physically. That's often what people are doing when they're reaching for the bottle. Even from a purely cultural standpoint, right? When we have an alcohol around meals, socially, interaction, we go out for a beer, we have some cocktails, we feel good in that whole social interaction. The depressive nature of our drinking helps us relax a little, and we feel great about those situations being there. It very often celebratory, right? So all of these things will play into that. So real relief is about helping us feel better internally. It's relaxing, right? That's again what alcohol often does. There are many ways of doing that much better, and even sometimes even getting that little high. Breath work. There's some breath work. I can still remember my wife and I had one of her friends, long time high school friends, college friend, got into doing breathing stuff, breath work, and you can get an oxygen rush. It makes your whole body tingle. She taught us these breathing techniques, and it felt really cool, like really good. It was kind of a buzz, right? Like you might get if you drank a little bit too much or something, but it was natural. It was the way you were breathing and through the oxygen. So you teach kids how to relax and calm themselves and potentially even get that feeling that from that sort of breath work as an alternative, so much better for them on so many levels. So from breath work to mindfulness to meditation, that ability to relax quickly in other ways is powerful. And when I talk about helping teenagers deal with their stress and so they don't reach for the alcohol, don't do these sort of things. And I talk about mindset. I repeat this quite a bit, but it's always so important to understand what I'm talking about with these shifts. So it's about taking responsibility, owning all these time management, labels, beliefs, values, emotions, memories, owning all that, understanding that you're in control of it. Then finding those that don't support you, that may contribute to you reaching for the alcohol, for the drugs, for taking risky behaviors. trying to understand what those are so we can weed out those that really aren't probably supporting you or helping you, that will influence your decision making, all those things. And then it's building the habits around things like mindfulness and meditation and prayer and breath work and filling your mind with good things, with good thoughts. All those things are all the components of training a mindset. And I emphasize that word because it's ongoing. You got to constantly read your guide, and constantly you want to keep that guide and looking good, feeling good. There we just ended yet another video talking about stress in teenagers. Always important topics. I encourage you to subscribe to my channel. Check out other videos. In particular, you might be interested in the video, do teenagers see school as a health risk or school stress as a health risk? Check that video out today. Come back, watch another one, and I'll see you in that next one.